Before we get going, let me first speak to you about the Parliamentary Precinct. I think everyone's clear on what Parliament Hill is, but the precinct is a little more elastic than that. 150 years ago, the plan was for all of Parliament and government to fit on the hill, with the East and West blocks serving as departmental buildings. As you can see, the precinct is now much more than the hill. It includes 3 city blocks facing Parliament Hill, as well as Ottawa's original train station, known as the Government Conference Centre. You can also see in blue planned infills to provide even more space in the future. The precinct now includes 34 buildings, of which 28 have heritage designation, making it one of the highest concentrations of heritage structures in the country. And what you can't see on this map is a remote campus that provides all of the back-of-house functions for food production, postal services, warehousing, and other. Our buildings, some built prior to Confederation, are old, don't meet modern codes, contain asbestos, as we've all read about, I'm sure, and in some cases are literally falling apart. In short, we face many issues, as you can see on the heat map. Many of them are at risk of failure. But this isn't all. For Parliament to function, modern space is required. Not only were the Parliament buildings constructed before computers existed, they were constructed before typewriters existed, and well before such important concerns as cybersecurity, environmental sustainability, and universal accessibility. So all in all, quite a tall order. So a plan was put together called the Long-Term Vision and Plan, focused on meeting the needs head-on. The core of the plan was to think long-term, think big, but to begin small and to be ruthlessly pragmatic in achieving short-term objectives. To achieve the objective of fully restoring and modernizing the parliamentary buildings, we first had to empty them. As you can see, this required a series of interlocked projects and move sequences that looks like a football play or a giant game of dominoes. In implementing the Long-Term Vision and Plan, or LTVP as we call it, we've used a 2 birds with 1 stone approach. We focused on restoring existing heritage assets already in need of rehabilitation and using them as swing space to align short-term needs to make the most of our investments. This pragmatic approach, combined with clear long-term objectives, has proven very effective in making progress in a stepwise manner and in a way that has built momentum along the way. Au cours des 10 dernières années, l'élément principal qui guidait la vision et plan à long terme était l'importance de se rendre à l'édifice du centre avant qu'il soit dans un état critique. Ceci nous a aidés à établir nos priorités ainsi que la séquence des projets. Cet objectif principal a été une des clés de notre succès jusqu'à présent. With the emptying of Centre Block on target for fall 2018, we can look to the future now and turn our attention to the rest of the portfolio. This includes the development of a new Indigenous Centre in the former American Embassy, the restoration of the Office of the Prime Minister and the Privy Council, and East Block and Confederation buildings. There's more to it, of course, than a good plan. Our success rests on many building blocks. Our secret sauce, as we call it at the precinct, is the combination of all these elements. We need all of them working together to really get things moving and to get things right. It's worth pausing for a moment to unpack a couple of these elements. The work we're doing is undeniably complex, technically complex, but sometimes getting things done on the Hill can be even more challenging. There are many important players on a fairly small playing field. We are the owners and custodians of the buildings and grounds, but we deliver the work on behalf of the Houses of Parliament. At the same time, we have to carry out our stewardship responsibility to all Canadians. A key success factor in this environment has been building a very broad, diverse team. In essence, we've built a network team with many different points of expertise, from private sector, independent auditors, other jurisdictions, and of course, universities and colleges. This has created a web of collaboration that has helped trust and respect to grow over time. In addition, this approach has been critical in helping us make optimal decisions and continue to lead forward. In turn, this outreach has helped build additional capacity. Récemment, nous avons beaucoup collaboré avec l'Université de Carleton afin de créer des modèles de 3 dimensions de nos édifices. L'objectif principal de ces modèles numériques est de réduire la divergence entre l'étape de la conception et de la construction, en plus d'opérer les édifices modernes en utilisant des outils électroniques. These digital models are also enabling us to approach traditional work in new ways. For example, it is helping artisans to rebuild broken parts of gargoyles and grotesques virtually before repairing them in reality. It's also enabling robotic technology to assist masons and sculptors in carving stone more efficiently. I believe you'll hear more from James later on this. Digital models can help reduce the friction between design and construction and facilitate future maintenance of buildings. For example, the Wellington Building and West Block use 3D models to deconflict drawings in complex areas. The Center Block program is using 3D drawings as well. Sophisticated software such as Solibri will be used to identify where drawings clash. Some of the benefits were unintended, and we are taking advantage and building on these opportunities. For example, we're using digital models to bring the LTVP to life so that we can better engage Canadians and explain our work. Looking forward, it's our intention to create a virtual viewing room where clients will be able to see their finished spaces long before they're built. This will help minimize changes downstream because our clients, many of whom are non-technical, struggle to visualize final spaces based on traditional drawings alone. Being able to see these spaces and provide feedback before any work has begun will save time and money and promote a better relationship. Additionally, we're equipping our clients with programs that enable digital markups right on drawings as they're being reviewed, helping them better communicate their needs in real time and allowing us to capture the information firsthand. Our partners with universities such as University of Calgary and the private sector has also helped us to test in a lab environment the best way to seismically upgrade the Parliament buildings and to innovate in a way that we are removing 150 years of environmental pollution by using laser technology for cleaning masonry. Combination of a solid plan and a network team are creating results. Since the completion of the Library of Parliament in 2006, we've completed 21 major projects in a row, on time and on budget. Completed in 2015, the Sir Johnny Macdonald Building, or SJAM as we call it, is a heritage building that was repurposed and rehabilitated. The building includes many innovative features such as radiant cooling, acoustic treatments, and other technology. Our biggest challenge, though, and the most interesting innovation there is how we were able to incorporate these elements into an existing heritage building. It wasn't easy. The Wellington Building was completed in 2016 and is used as office space for parliamentarians. The building also has a number of committee rooms that are accessible by the public. While there are many innovations in the Wellington Building, such as a green wall, advanced occupancy sensors, and so on, the one I'd like to highlight today is the fact that we're able to execute this project in a way that diverted 97% of waste material from landfills. This is remarkable considering we effectively removed the center of the building, right down to the basement. We looked at every opportunity to reuse material. For example, copper removed from the roof was salvaged and turned into a very aesthetically pleasing acoustic treatment for the building's library. Another example is the building's original marble finish. They were salvaged and repurposed in different areas of the building. The walls of the cafeteria are now clad in the building's original marble washroom stall partitions, believe it or not, and I assure you they were cleaned before they were installed. Next year will be our biggest year yet. In September, the West Block Phase 1 of the new Visitors Welcome Centre and the Government Conference Centre are all going into operation. So let's take a quick virtual tour of these 3 projects. Let's begin with the West Block. So the project includes construction of an infill that was previously a vacant courtyard that will serve as a House of Commons chamber while the centre block is being rehabilitated. There's been much discussion about a location for the House of Commons chamber, and in the end, the courtyard infill became the selected location. The courtyard infill also became part of a broader expansion to the West Block, which involved excavating almost 50 feet down into bedrock to add committee rooms and additional services, adding approximately 50% new space to the building. As you can see, we've put a beautiful glass roof over the courtyard. Movable louvers will control light and acoustic paneling will control sound so the chamber can meet the demanding standards of serving as a broadcast facility for debates and question period. With several projects under our belts, West Block has provided us an opportunity on a large scale to apply some of the innovations that we've been exploring. We use drones to assist with investigative work, whereas we would use a crane. We use computer modeling to help with lighting and acoustic design. We use a dynamic buffer zone in the lower wall assemblies to help control moisture. Visitors Welcome Center. It's the first new building to be built on the hill in over 100 years, and like the West Block and the Government Conference Center, will be completed in fall 2018, all opening in September. It will be an integral part of our new approach to material handling and people movement. The LTVP has a 20-year horizon and represents opportunities both now and in the future. Youth engagement is important to us at PPB as well. In fact, in the last 5 years, 260 students have had the opportunity to work with us in a range of capacities. Many of these students have ended up becoming permanent employees as well. Given our long-term horizon, there's tremendous opportunity for students in the future. I'd like to share a video some of our students developed about the Visitors Welcome Center last summer. I think it demonstrates their willingness and enthusiasm to be part of the Parliamentary Precinct projects.
You've heard of the West Block renovations, right?
But have you heard of the Visitor Welcome Center?
We asked Canada, and it seems like most of us don't.
So, we're here to show you. The Visitor Welcome Center will be the entrance to West Block and the House of Commons chamber.
It will have security and information for visitors to Parliament Hill.
We invite you all to come visit this historic site once it becomes available to the public.
Just something they did from the corner of their desk. Government Conference Center is our next stop, the historic train station in Ottawa, adjacent to the Rideau Canal. It's been completely restored to serve as a Senate chamber and Senate offices during the renovation of the center block. It's being restored to its former glory and also being updated to be a much more functional facility. When it served as a conference center, it was not a very easy building to get around in. New elevators and stairs, new second level of space and strategic locations has made moving through the building much easier and more logical. It has also increased the usable space in the building by about 30%. The innovation here lies in the design. The building was spread across multiple levels. To get anywhere felt like navigating a maze. We looked at this and found a way to make modifications that not only fixed the building's circulation issues, but also created new committee rooms in the process. The Government Conference Center will also be the first of our buildings to incorporate finished details that are fabricated with digital assistance. As I mentioned earlier, James from Carleton here will speak to this later on. So there really is a massive amount of work going on, as you can see. There are over 1,400 people working on various projects on any given day. Débuter le projet de l'édifice du centre sera un jalon majeur dans nos efforts. Il aura fallu une décennie d'efforts soutenus pour y arriver. Se rendre à l'édifice du centre est une réalisation majeure, mais certainement pas la fin de notre trajet. Atteindre ce jalon nous permet maintenant de se tourner vers un campus en entier. So as we look forward, the focus of our attention is building on a parliamentary campus that continues to address those three key drivers: adding new space, restoring our heritage structures, and creating more modern space, as well as more secure, interconnected, sustainable, and universally accessible precinct. The key difference is that our focus will shift to a more holistic and integrated approach. And the focus of activity will be increasingly integrated into broader city rather than separated from it. Security, of course, is a modern reality. Our collective challenge is to extend the secure perimeter to make the precinct safer and to do it in a way that makes it even more welcoming and a more interesting destination for Canadian and international visitors. Un campus connecté est critique afin de supporter l'infrastructure moderne de la cité. Ceci est aussi essentiel pour informer tous les Canadiens peu importe où ils vivent, sur ce qui se passe au Parlement. For the campus to work effectively, in addition to a digital network, it requires a physical network that interconnects the buildings underground and supports the efficient and safe movement of services, people, and goods. Environmental sustainability has been a key priority in our work, and we have integrated an array of elements from green roofs, green walls, solar panels, and others to achieve environmental standards. By the way, the Visitors Welcome Center will be a LEED Gold building. As we move forward on a campus basis, the goal is shifting to broader campus-wide efforts with the objective of achieving carbon neutrality. Et surtout, nous voulons s'assurer qu'il y ait le moins de barrières possible pour les membres du Parlement, les Canadiens et les visiteurs internationaux qui visitent la colline lorsqu'ils s'appliquent avec le Parlement du Canada. So to wrap things up, the work we're doing is focused on responding to the needs directly in front of us. We're certainly faced with unique challenges and continually strive to find innovative solutions, whether we're trying to incorporate modern technology into heritage buildings, reduce the amount of waste going to landfills, make the best use of our space, or change the way we review drawings. Our success comes from an openness to innovation and technology, and having surrounded ourselves with the very best team of professionals both in the private sector and academia. Our vision of success is to create a place that is more interesting and more dynamic, a place that reflects both our past and our future, a modern and historic place of which Canadians are increasingly proud of. I think we're on the right track. Thanks for your time and letting me share a bit of our work with you today.